Good afternoon. Make sure we get all set up here. I need some hand cream on my hands. It is so dry all the time here. All right. We'll just give everybody a minute to hop on. Hello, Betty. How are you doing? I know you usually catch the replay and leave lovely comments, so I'm glad you were able to pop in today. I think I need to get myself a drink of water. It's been one of those mornings where it's just been hectic, and it's going to be a nice break to just relax and craft with you guys. What's going on with you, Betty? Up to anything exciting today? Hello, Linda. My daughter had her grade 9 grad last night, and it was so wonderful. So it was a busy afternoon and evening, but it was really, really nice to just see the kids and the parents and kind of just connect with everybody. And then um, they had their graduation mass and then their little event afterwards at the church, and it was really fun. Leaving to go camping at 3. Oh, that's awesome. And you're ready. You're good. Whenever I went camping, it seemed like I was running around at the last minute trying to throw things in. We are debating going camping this year. My 15-year-old said nope, she's not going unless there's a group with her friends going. But otherwise, she's like, she can't do it. Thank you. So my youngest, though, she really wants to go camping, so we might try and do just a little weekend. It is a lot of work to go, though. Hello, Raquel. How are you doing? Hi, Irene. So, yeah, we had the grade 9 grad. I'm going to post pictures. If you are friends with me on Facebook, then you'll see them later. Um, and it was just really nice way to end. It's almost the end of the year, but to end the year. Just your hubby and you. And you have a camper, Betty? That definitely makes it easier. Hello, Miss Rosie. How are you? All right, so this is the card we're going to make today. We're going to play with some of this Be Creative. This is Honeybee Stamps has put out this liquid shimmer watercolor, and I'm going to show you, I guess, 3 different ways that we can use it to do this cute little card. We've got a stencil from Kraftin Kimmie. I know that Sandy is working on getting a couple things in the shop because she's been super busy. So this is the Crafty Kaleidoscope stencil that we'll be using, and that will go up in the shop shortly if it's not already. And this one is in the shop already, and it's Kraftin Kimmie, and it's called Party Animals. It's very cute. So I've stamped that on there. Just catch up on some comments here. It is a lot of work, Linda. I know. So I was saying that my youngest daughter really wants to go, and I'm like, oh no. But I might for her. And you're working on a wedding card. Okay. I'm doing well. There haven't been a lot of weddings in the last you know, a couple of years. So I think we have, well, my oldest daughter's wedding is this weekend, and then we have one to go to in the summer. So yeah, I bet there will be lots more wedding cards happening. Um, it is a cute image, isn't it, Rosie? And I love this stencil. It's definitely a lot of work, but you're right. If you have a camper, it's very relaxing. Tenting, I don't know, not so much about the tenting. Hello, Sandy. So this is the image we're going to use today. We're going to use some of this Be Creative, Be Shimmery liquid shimmer watercolor. It's a lot of things in the name, but basically it's a shimmery liquid that you can add. So it says on the back, you can combine it with inks or paints or apply it directly for a subtle shimmery effect. I really like it. I've used it. I'm going to show you 3 ways to use it on this card. And I like having stuff that you can use several different ways. And I thought we'll do a little bit of Copic coloring. I've got some inks. So recently Sandy had restocked Altenew Inks. I don't think these specific colors are in there, but I don't have a lot of inks. I have 3 different, I have like greens, reds, and these blues. But what I really like about them is that no matter what color you chose, you could do this with the Pink Fresh inks or with the Altenew inks. They both come in that pack of 4, and the colors go from light to dark. So when you're looking at those, you can stamp with them and have the different variations like an ombre effect. They're great for stenciling. They're great for the layered stencils and stamping, of course. And we're going to use them on the stencil here today to kind of have that ombre effect. But they're really nice because they're already packaged in a package that shows you what goes together. So these are always going to go together. You don't have to use all of them at once, but if you wanted, you know, to use these 2 or you wanted to use these 2, they're all going to match. Or if you have this on your project and you want to stamp a sentiment with this, you know that it's going to be the same kind of color family, tone, and it's going to match. So if you're looking for some fun inks, you can check out the Altenew or the Pink Fresh, and they're both in those 4 packs. And they're both really great. We've got some picket fence sequins, and again, I don't think these particular mixes are in the shop, but if you search up picket fence sequins, there are so many sequins in the shop, and they are beautiful. I think there's some new ones since I last looked, because there's a flamingo one in there that I think might have to go in the cart as well. It's really cute, but there's lots, and they have some that have like the little scissors are in the crafty one, or there's little images or little, not images, but little, you know, there's scissors or there's flamingos, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. You guys know what I'm trying to say, right? But really cute, really nice mixes. Then we have some new Creative Expressions dies in the shop. Oh, milk and cookies. Yes, I did see those. They have like the little cookies. Yeah. Some new dies. So Creative Expressions, of course, has lots of great embossing folders and dies, lots of fun things. And these ones are all happy birthday ones. There might even be more, but these are what I have right here. So this is what we're using today, and it's a layered one. So you get both the layers, the background and the die cut word. So you can layer those, or you can use them separately, or the front separately. This one, it was really hard for me to pick what I wanted to use today, because I really, really like this font. Like it has, I don't know if you, are you guys, do you look at different fonts? I find even in ads that I see, like sometimes I'll see a font in a magazine, and I think, I love that. It looks just so great. So this one, very pretty as well. and it's a little bit smaller. So this is a look at the size, just a little bit smaller. And this one is a large die, and so you don't have the layers, you have the words. And I like that the word is connected as well. So you've got happy and birthday, but if you cut it out, you don't have to try and place the letters on separately and get them spaced evenly, which is nice. And then you can do lots of fun things. There's lots of large word dies out now. They're very popular. So I think that's another nice one, and a nice font as well. But I like the scriptiness of this, and I thought we'd use this today. So those are in the shop. New things. Let me see here. Let me just move a couple things out of the way. So those things that I showed you are new. These paper packs. Yeah, I know. What would you call those? Silhouettes? Hello, Georgette. Sandy, are you getting the Spellbinders stitched letters? Are those new, Irene? I have not caught up on what's exactly new for Spellbinders right now, or are they an older set? These fabulous mixed card packs. So Craft Perfect is made by Tonic Studios, and they have the 8.5 by 11, that mirror cardstock, which is fabulous. And now we have in the mixed card packs. So this one's open, so I'll show you this. So let me give you an idea. And I think it's probably, maybe it's a little bit different for each, but it tells you what's in it. So this one is gold, and it has high gloss mirror card, double-sided pearlescent, low shed glitter, and luxury embossed specialty card. So it shows you all the ones that are in here. I love having this mixed pack because then you can mix and match and you get a little bit of each. So let me kind of hold this up here. It is very pretty. It's a new set, Irene. Okay, so we'll check on that and see if we're going to get it in. This has almost like a textured look. Yeah. Then, so you get quite a few. There's 24 sheets in all. So I guess you would get 6 of each. Here's the glitter. Of course, I love the Tonic glitter paper. So beautiful and shimmery. This one would be, I would say, the pearlescent. Doesn't that look like it's pearlescent? You scrap Shotz. I wasn't planning on ordering the whole set. Yes, but specific. Oh, okay. I know. They're like a monogram letter type thing. If there's a letter that you're looking for, then just let Sandy know. Or letters. And then, oh, you can see me. And then this is the high polish mirrored cardstock. That's very shiny. Hi, Judy. How are you? So you've got right here, and there might be more, I'm not sure, but Sandy's going to get those loaded into the shop if they're not there already. This one is Blue Moon, and so you've got different papers in the blue range. This one is Ruby Romance. Hello, Lorraine. I feel like we're having a little crafty party here. And Silver Service. And isn't that nice? I love these stripes. And then you've got a holographic one. Oh, that looks really fun. So a little bit of everything and different color tones. So then you can decide what you would like. These die cut really, really nice. I find that the Tonic paper does a really nice job. And actually, I die cut, I used the pearlescent card. And Sandy, I'm not sure if we're getting more of that in the shop, but it was the one that you had got me to die cut, and I used a scrap for this, and it die cuts beautifully. It's very shiny, Judy. You need sunglasses on to see it. So if you can see, and I'm not sure depending on the light, because Maybe we'll open that and see if we can get even a little bit more light. Sometimes it's hard to know. I put on this shimmer watercolor, so that's what we're going to use today. And I painted some on, I flicked some on, and then we have some on the background with our ink. So you can see it in person really well. Sometimes camera and pictures, it's hard to see. Oh, and the one other thing that I wanted to show you guys is the Vicki Boutin tag album. This is from the Sweet Rush, and I had made this up, but I still need to do a little bit of work on it, but for the most part it's done. And this is, I just put pictures in it. I decorated it with some stickers and elements from the Sweet Rush collection. So I'm just going to flip through. This is really cute. So this is one of the, it's like the foam stickers, and I love this bubblegum machine that's on here. So you get all the main elements in the tag set. It's the Sweet Rush tag. If you search for that, it'll come up. And then you just decorate it how you want. I think you can even decorate the backs. I could put tons more photos in here. You can add more because this ring is nice and big. So I made a tag here, and this is just the girls, and it's a summer kind of book. And as I come across more pictures, I'll stick more in. You've got a little clear piece of acetate that's printed on there. This I thought was really cute, a little piece in there, and so I added the picture so that it shows through. And they're so tiny there. Looking back, it's hard to believe how quick the time flies. Love this, that you have this full journaling piece that you can add, and then I put a sticker on there. The sticker books too are really great. This I added in just on the back, and some journaling. And these are great too if you have some places that you've gone to in the summer and you have ticket stubs or whatever. You can tuck them in, or you can punch a hole. So I added some stamps from the Vicki Boutin stamp that goes with Sweet Rush, one of them. And then this I haven't done anything with yet, but it just sticks in there. Another photo that I punched a hole in, and then that's on the back. Actually, this might be a piece of the paper. That's the cut apart. Then there's something here I can do journaling, and another photo on. Picture of Erica when she was so little. Thanks, Betty. These are fun too, just to do and kind of reflect as you're doing them. So you can see I have lots more space for lots more photos and journaling. And then you've got two large tags in the back. And I ended up putting, no, I didn't. I can't remember if I put paper on that or if it came like that. And just added some of those chipboard stickers. I think it must have came like that. I can't remember what I did yesterday. So, and then the back. So those are really cute if you're looking for a fun little project, or your kids I think would really like to do that as well if they had the summer photos and they wanted to decorate it. I think that would be cute. So we're going to get working on our card, and I have, first of all, this is a piece of Vicki Boutin foundations paper, and it's really nice for doing any kind of mixed media or watercolor. But if you don't have it, I just used regular cardstock, actually quite thin cardstock for this, and this still worked on it. So, use what you have. But I thought it looked like it was almost starting to pill a little bit because I was putting some water on it, and I wanted to try the foundations paper and see how that worked with this technique. So we're going to add our stencil. So this is the Crafty Kaleidoscope stencil. Thanks, Lorraine. And I've got the waffle flower matte, and I've been playing around with a few different things for stenciling. I really like this. This is the, I'm going to move it up a little bit there so you guys can see it pretty clearly. So it just steadies your paper from moving around. So I've been playing around with that. I'm trying to center this. Although it doesn't really matter because we're putting something in the center, so if it's off a little bit, it's not a big deal. So I've been playing around with that Tim Holtz Media Grip, which I really like, and Sandy's waiting for that to come in, if you've been waiting for that. But I like this as well because it protects your background. It's a really nice surface, so you can watercolor on it, pick up watercolors. There's lots of things you can do with it. And there is, hello Jenny, there's a larger one, and then this is the mini one. So I think the mini one is about like, I don't know what it measures right now. I wanted to say 5 by 9, but it might be bigger than that. And I don't want to move it to measure it right now. So then we're going to take our inks. So whatever, if you have some inks that are close to each other in colors, we're going to use 3 on this one. And we're just shaking up this watercolor. So the Be Shimmery watercolor. Then, just making sure I have everything here, we are going to just smush our inks down. And this is a really light color, so I'm doing lots of smushing. The other ones are darker. Then I'm going to we'll do 2 drops of this, and you can see how shimmery it is, hopefully, in the video. And you want to shake that up every time. And then I added a little bit of water just because I wanted it to move, but you can see I didn't add much water. You just got the smaller one, but you haven't used 6 by 9. Okay, that's what I was thinking. It's great. And it does, if you use pink inks for some reason, it does stain it, but it doesn't hurt it at all. So don't let that keep you from using your inks, because once you start like just layer, you can use your pastes and paints, and it doesn't affect how it works at all. And I think you'll really enjoy it. And there's a video. So all I'm doing is I've got my sponge applicator. I'm dipping it in the ink and rubbing it over the top part of my stencil. And this is probably a little bit darker because I didn't actually clean my sponge off. So it is darker than I have here. And that I think is why. But that's okay. Okay, then we just give this a wipe. And then we go to our next color. Yeah, don't keep that from letting you use your products thinking that you might get them messy or whatever. If you use them, you're going to really appreciate that you spent the money on it, you bought it, and that you're using it. And it's really great for any kind of stenciling. I want to shake this every time and just make sure, there we go, lots of that glitter. Because those things that you use, those are going to be the ones that you you think, oh, I can't even imagine how I would craft without this. Like this glass mat, honestly. And if you have the glass mat, I don't know if Sandy still has them in, but I know they were in stock when we were at Carnival. Was this scraper tool, and then there's it's not a ruler, but it's like a straight edge with a metal edge on one side, so you can use a craft knife with it. And I use that scraper all the time if I have paint stuck on my mat, and I just spray it with a little bit of either water or some light cleaner, and then you just scrape it off, and it works wonderfully. So you can see how much darker this goes. Oh, and they are in stock. Okay. Magic eraser would clean up the residual. I don't think so, Jennifer. I think I tried it. For some reason, there's something that causes it to stain with pink only. That's the only thing that I've had it stain with. But again, it just wipes off really nicely and doesn't affect it. Okay, now we go in with our darker color. And I'm just putting a tiny bit of water. And you wouldn't probably actually have to put water if you were using regular cardstock and you didn't want to add too much wetness to it. But I just felt like it all mixed really nicely together. All right, so we've got our color on there. Let's wipe that and then we'll take off our piece. And that's the Spellbinders Yellow the Best Ever craft tape, and it's a really fabulous tape. If you're looking for a tape and don't have one in your stash, I would recommend that. Okay, so we've got our background with that crafty kaleidoscope, and again, I don't know if you can tell, but the shimmer is really nice in real life. So can you guys see the shimmer? And it might have to dry before you can see it. So you can use it on your background. We'll move that, let it dry a little bit. Hello, Connie. All right, then we may as well do well, let's glue these on first. So these are the die cuts from the Happy Birthday. This is the Noble Expressions, and it's the one that ends in 001. So the layered die, so it's cutting the background, that base, and then you have these beautiful, look how detailed and delicate these are. Oh, good, Lorraine, thanks. They are beautiful, and this is the Tonic, the Craft Perfect cardstock. So it cuts beautifully, and the die cut cuts beautifully. That was just what ran through once. So really like that. And then what I always find helpful, and of course, I think you guys know this is my favorite glue, the art glitter glue with the little tips, and we have them back in stock. So art glitter glue. How's Vernon today, Connie? Art glitter glue, it doesn't ship in the winter, so I feel like we had a period of time when we couldn't get it. And it's back all in stock, and so I like to stock up. And I love the thin tip because then I can put sequins on. I can use it for these thin little die cuts. And a little goes a long way. And I think tweezers, I always forget to bring tweezers up to my area where I'm doing my lives. I think those would be very helpful. But it's really, really a nice die. So I think all their dies are very nice. But I like that they're so detailed and they cut really nicely, because we know that there's nothing worse than trying to cut out a die that just won't cut. I think manufacturers are much better at that now, where they they do take into consideration, you know, people cutting them, and they seem to be better quality than maybe like 10 years ago. I know I would run across quite a few more that didn't cut well. So here's the happy birthday. If you wanted this to be in two pieces, you could easily cut in there and then stack those, but they're very nice. All the stencils are in, but the Crafty Kaleidoscope, the graphic's just not there, but it is called Crafty Kaleidoscope with a K. So we're going to set that aside and we'll do our Copic coloring. So let's see, I thought we would do the warm grays for the elephant. And what I like to do, so who does Copic coloring here? Or are you thinking of getting into Copic coloring? I start with my darkest color. I like the warm grays for doing gray colors on like animals. And I don't really spend too much time worrying about light sources and shadows. I just like to make a little bit of a shadow area and some highlight areas. So I'm just adding a little bit on kind of those creases that are drawn in, and the lines. You can do his little tail. And I forgot my white gel pen again. I'm gonna have to leave one upstairs just so I don't forget it. And then do his little ear in the back here. So that's the darkest color. There's lots of different ways you can Copic color, and if you have something that works for you, then you just do it the way some people start from light and work to dark, and I've just always started from dark working to light. So I do my dark line, then I go over it with the next color that I have, and you can see the alcohol in the alcohol markers, it blends together. So it almost reminds me of watercolor when you're going over the watercolor and how the water softens it. And this does the same thing, but with alcohol. And so these are permanent once they dry. And I'm just bringing this color in a little bit more. So I start by coloring over the dark lines that I already put there. And when you go over a darker color with the lighter color, it almost lightens that color because of there's blending solution in the marker, which helps to lighten that color and soften it. And then I'll just bring it in even a little bit more. And then if I'm using 3 colors, I'll go in with my third color. So that's W1. It's too expensive right now. Yes, Betty, they are pricey. Lorraine is a Copic color. Start light and go dark. Yep. And yeah, if you don't know if Copic coloring is for you, there's lots of other options as well. You know, to start out with, I think that well, I started out with like Prismacolor markers, and made sure that I liked using them, and then I moved to Copics, because I knew that I really liked them, and I think Copics are really good quality. I really like that you can refill them. So all I did there is fill in my open spaces, and I've still got a little bit of space here because I want to put some pink in his ear. And another thing too, if you feel like you would like to start Copic coloring, you can start small. I don't have a lot of Copics. I have, like, if you have 2 color blends, you can do lots with just 2 color blends. And so start out with, 2 reds, 2 oranges, just in the rainbow order, and then go out from there if there's different ranges of colors. So you can start small and go from there if you feel like it's something you want to start investing in. Our 00 is a really light pink, so we're going to do his ears pink, and it's pretty light, so I'm just going to color in the ear spot. I'm not going to add highlighting, and I'm going to use this color for his feet. And I think, so maybe Sandy, you can let us know if our Copic's something that would go on sale for the Tuesday, the 10% Tuesday, which is once a month. And if they are, then it's something that you might want to buy 2 or 3 a month. All right, so we've got his cute little cheeks, of course, because he needs rosy cheeks. Then we're going to do we're going to do the little giraffe in a YR color. So this is YR 24 and 21. I have my basic color combos, and I can pretty much look at anything that I've colored and know I use that or that for it, and that's my go-to. Sometimes I'll watch some people on YouTube that do Copic coloring, and they'll show some blends, and that might be a different color combination than I've tried, and then I'll make note of it and maybe add something to my collection. So again, I'm just going over the outside lines or where I feel like there should be some shading. And he's not very big, so I'm just going to use 2 colors on him. And I actually only have 2 colors in this little color combo, so what you want to do if you have 2 colors that you're blending, so instead of adding a 3rd color into the center, you color out those darker spots just by covering them with a lighter marker. And I'm not doing anything too fancy. And I'll also show you how you can get a color blend if you don't have a marker that's close. So I've left that spot, and then if I was using a 3rd marker, I could go in and fill that in. I don't have the 3rd marker, so I'm just going in with this color, and it ends up to be lighter because the more you layer Copics, the darker they get. So if you want it lighter, I'm just putting on, I colored the background, which I shouldn't have. I'm just putting on a very light, one kind of light pass in the center, and then I get that look of it being lighter in the center. Another tip is if you feel, look, I forgot his ears. If you feel like your color was too close to just being one color, you could go back over it with your darker and add some shadowing in, and as that dries, it'll soften and it'll just be a little bit darker. So that's another way to add some highlights. Let's color his ears before we forget that again. Always 10% off on the first Tuesday of the month. Maybe we'll have a deeper sale. Irene has some Copics. Yeah, and I would say, it's very smart to look at your budget, and if it's not something you're going to use and you feel like, you know what, I would rather um, use that on something else, then you gotta do what works. Or if it's not in your budget, it's not in your budget. And that's totally fine. Hello, Melissa. I enjoy coloring. It's one of those things that I can kind of just put on a movie. Okay, I've got E37 and E33. That's going to be my brown combo for the monkey, and I think for his spots. What was I going to say? Okay, so we could just go ahead and color these in. It doesn't, they're pretty small and they don't really need to have another color, but um, I think what I'll do is color in his little mane. So Kraftin Kimmie, if you don't know, she's a Canadian company. So we're very excited to be carrying her stamps and stencils. She's been around for about 12 years and has lots of very cute images. All right, so there's our little draft. And you can even see, like, even though we didn't have to add, I should zoom in, guys, sorry, so you can see a little closer. Even though we didn't have to add any highlights with a lighter color, you can see it, and I think it does make a difference. I think I was saying that for coloring, I love to just stamp some images. I usually have a color combination in mind, or if I'm not sure what kind of color combination I want, then I will choose a paper. So if I was doing, if I thought, you know what, I think this stuff would look great with, if I had a background that I was doing with pattern paper, and say I had the Sweet Rush collection, then I might choose colors that were in that paper. So the greens and the pinks and that yellow and blue kind of thing. And I don't think you can ever go wrong if you're using a paper pad that you like, if you're following the colors. Even if you didn't use the paper from it, you know that your colors are going to look great together. So I think that's a great tip too. If you're not sure about colors to use, pull them from a picture or a paper pad that you like. So this little guy looks like he's having such a great time hanging out with his giraffe friend. And then I go back and just fill in any spots. So again, that was just a 2-color blend. I tend to use, let's see here, if I want to do something that looks black, I tend to use these neutral colors. So N8, N6, I have an N10 that's a little bit darker. I don't often use a black just because I find that it's hard to get that shading effect if you've got black. So I have black, but I just don't use it that often. So that's the N8. And I think for me, it's almost more important to have the neutral, and I don't mean the N colors, I mean just like neutral colors like browns and grays and the flesh tone type colors, I think that those are even more important. I would have more of those than I would of regular colors because I think we use those more than we even realize. We'll color in his little nose with this N8, and I colored his stomach like the yellow color, but I think actually I'm going to just use this E53. It's just a little bit softer. So that's the main colors of those animals. Also, if I'm not sure, this color has shrunk in. If I'm not sure kind of what colors I'm thinking of, but I just want to start coloring, I will color something that I know what color I want. So I knew he was going to be gray. I knew these guys were going to be the colors that they are, or it was easy for me. And then I could go ahead and figure out what colors I wanted to use for any of the accessories. Okay, so for you, yeah, definitely having extra greens. If definitely if you color lots of florals, Lorraine, you'd rather cut and paste or blend inks and maybe watercolor. Yep, you got to do what you like. I mean, there's no point if you hated coloring, there's no point in investing in markers, right? If you enjoy the process of sitting down and coloring, then that might be an option. There are lots of fun ways to color too, so it's not like you have to use one thing. If you like stamping and you don't have a lot of markers, then smush your inks on the side and watercolor with them. There's lots of ways you can color in your stamped images. So this one was B04 and this is B02. And I realized I did it a little bit differently than I did on my sample, but that's okay. Trying to think of one that I can use to show you how you can get a blend. Okay, let's do the pink. So for the pink, I have RV 13 and 14. And we're going to start just on the edge again. And then I wouldn't necessarily do this technique with these markers, but if you had, you know what, we'll do it with a lighter one. So say if I had this color and this color, and I knew that when I used it, it just wasn't going to blend great together. Like you're going to have a big, if I only had these two, and when I put this down, obviously it doesn't look like they can flow into one another. What you can do, and it doesn't hurt your markers at all, is you take your lighter one, and I'm just grabbing color from the darker one, and then using it almost as if I had a marker in that color. And as you color with it, it's going to come off. So it's not going to stay on your marker or affect your marker. And look what you can do. So just by taking the color off the tip, you can blend that out. And then if I have a piece of paper, I'll use Erica's study guide because I'm sure she won't matter. And then see how it just comes off, and then you're back to your regular marker. But that's kind of a little cheat tip that you can do, especially if you don't have a color that is close. There's a couple blues that I have that are like that, and that I find that helpful to do. Betty, you use Prismacolors and watercolors right now, and you love to color. Yes. Prismacolors are fabulous, and there's so many fun things you can do with watercolor too. All right, let's do the little giraffe's hat, his party hat. So we'll color this in. This is YG17. And YG23. I use this color combination a lot. Jen Shirkus, she does a lot of coloring with Lawn Fawn, and there's a post on her blog, and if you Google it, it'll come up because it's very popular, but it's called like Copic 101, and her name is Jen Shirkus, Shurkus, I think so. Shirkus. No, I can't remember, but it'll come up. And she has how to get started Copic coloring, and she has her main colors that go together, and what colors are good to start off with. And that's actually the post that I used to start. And I have those are my main colors that I use. So when you have something that's pretty small, you don't have to do a lot of blending. We're going to use some yellow on this little guy's hat. So a Y17 and a Y15. That's kind of my main yellow combination. And then you can go in and just start adding. So we have our main colors are like pink, blue, green, and yellow. So I can just keep to those colors, any of the shades of markers that I used, whether they're darker or lighter, and I can just start using those colors as my accent colors instead of introducing another new color, unless I felt like I needed one. But if I just wanted to keep it fairly simple, let's see here. We'll do his little pom-pom pink. Then take one of the blues, and we'll do this little bird blue as well. This is a B00. So we'll just fill this little bird in. And this goes, pretty quickly. Clear that one. And then we'll use the light blue. So the B02 we'll use on the pom-pom. And the B00. It is so beautiful here in Calgary today. I am definitely going out to sit on the deck. I can hear the birds chirping. Okay, the R20, I'm just gonna color in his ears and make some cheeks. So depending on the color I'm putting the cheeks on, I could even go a little bit darker. If it was a really light color, then I would use the R00 on the cheeks. And actually I feel like the R00 is probably better for the ears. I did put the other one in there and it's fine. But you may want a darker color, or you may want to just come back and give them a little bit more rosy cheeks if you like that rosy cheek effect. And then we'll just color in a little party hat. Maybe we'll do this one blue and green. Okay, we've got a little bit of confetti, and then this guy has a few little stripes on his hat. So we'll just randomly color this confetti in with those colors again that we were using. We don't have to think too hard about what other colors we want to add in. And then we just need one more, so we'll do the blue. Maybe we'll do the darker blue this time, the B04. There. All right, now we are done our image, and normally I would add some, white dots. Let me zoom out a little bit. Honest to God. Okay. I'm trying to zoom and I'm getting notifications on my phone, and then I clicked add someone to the video, and anyway, it's all good. So we've got these little guys, and you can see this is kind of how I would have added the white gel pen if I was adding that in. And then this Be Shimmer watercolor again, we're going to go back to this. We're going to put a little bit on our background or on our glass mat there. And just pick it up. This is just regular cardstock that you would Copic color on. And I'm just painting this right over top. So the ink that I did use was the Pink Fresh. It's a hybrid ink, but anything that is watercolor and Copic friendly, which there's, a lot out right now that are those hybrid inks that work for that. That's going to allow you to both Copic color as well as use this, because this, if you used a distress ink, say, to stamp your image on, and then you tried to rub this on, this is water-based and it would smudge it. But by just making sure that you have an ink that's waterproof as well as Copic friendly, or whatever medium you use to color, then that's going to allow you to use both of those things. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but yeah, there you can see it. The new Tim is up for pre-order. Okay, so the new Tim Holtz, I think that his release video is on Saturday. Is that right? Or did he already have it? I think it's on Saturday. But he showed everything that was coming out. So look at that shimmer. It's absolutely beautiful. So those, I think there's stamps and there's stencils. Anyway, it's a beautiful release and it's up for pre-order. So if you want to order anything then check it out from the shop, and that will be on its way as soon as it arrives at the distributor. So then the last thing that we can do with this, and Sandy said, there's a restock on the Viking line, so that's the 49 in Market. Beautiful. And box is sitting at your front door. New Doodlebug, my happy place. I saw that and it looks amazing. So that will be coming up in the shop very soon. New Dina gloss sprays. I think I'm going to have to go shopping after this live. And new lunar paste colors. Oh, that's so fun. Thanks, Betty. You have a wonderful weekend. Have fun camping. Is there a new color? Oh, right. New ranger color. Okay, not the new ranger color is coming out. What is it? The 18th? So, okay, Sandy. I'm getting it. So the new pre-order for Tim Holtz is the Ranger ink that's coming out on the 18th. Is that correct? So I added that shimmer. I'm adding a little bit of water, not too much, just because I want it to really move around. And I was chatting while it was sitting there. So I'm going to grab some with my paintbrush and I'm going to tap it on. I might need more. Oh, no, it's coming. Let's move this out of the way. I have a tiny paintbrush and I probably should have grabbed a little bit bigger, but it's just tiny little splatters, which actually is pretty good. So this shimmer is beautiful. I'm going to hold this up. I think when you're trying to splat, it's better to have a larger. I grabbed a small paintbrush because I wanted to paint some of that on. So I'm just tapping on the background. Okay. So that is your tip for the day, is if you want to do splatters, you should have a larger paintbrush. You have also pre-ordered the stamps and stencils. Okay, Stampers Anonymous. Took me a minute there, Sandy. So we will have that in. You'll be able to see it in the shop when they come in. Isn't that pretty? Look at those beautiful splatters. And they're so shimmery. So I'm just going to dry this. Normally I would just set it aside to dry for a second, but I want to put it on some cardstock. And I don't want it to smudge. That should be good. All right, so this is some of that tonic. I believe it's the pearlescent. So it's a little bit different than what's in this, but this is very similar as well from that mixed card pack. Okay, we'll glue this on. I think having some basic shape dies are always nice. So I know Pink Fresh, I think there's still some, but they always have some really great, just having a basic square or circle or rectangle die. I tend to go back to those basic shapes a lot. Here is our shimmery stenciled crafty kaleidoscope background with those Altenew inks. And if I had cleaned my sponge off, then we would have had a lighter color. I think I do like how that foundations paper, a little bit thicker, how it reacted with the water very well. It didn't buckle or anything. Then we've got our happy birthday. We're going to glue this right on the bottom. Easy peasy. I don't know, maybe I'm crooked. What do you think? I do as well, Irene. Love it. Okay, and then we'll add a little bit of our foam tape. This is the 3L roll. I'm not sure what we have. I think we have a few different ones in the shop. Okay, yes, I'm excited about the new, I'm always excited about the new Ranger ink color, distress color. So what do you guys think it's going to be? We know it's not yellow because he said he's not doing any yellows. And I have no guess because I'm always wrong. So I think when he was designing those, he was looking for gaps in the whole palette. You pre-ordered boatloads of the black foundations paper. What? I didn't even know there was black foundation paper. Okay, we'll definitely be getting that. Oh, and one more thing that I wanted to do because the stamp set is so cute. Okay, I don't know where I've been lately. So we need to put our sequins on. I did not know. That must be new. So let's stamp, not get our magnet stuck. Could be green. Yeah, Lorraine. Oh my lordy lord. Okay, there we go. So look at all the sentiments that are in this. This is the party animal set, and it's in the shop. Happy birthday, party animal. So in this one, I put and I have a piece of washi tape there because if you like to take pictures of your photo and sometimes they don't lay flat and then the picture looks wonky, if you put a piece of washi tape inside, it keeps it closed, but then you can take it off when you want to. And this one says from the whole gang. Oh, she hasn't picked a manufacturer yet. That's interesting. Happy birthday, party animal. Let's go wild. HB2U. Happy birthday. Huge birthday wishes. So all really great sentiments. I think I'm going to do Let's Go Wild. And then we can use one of our inks from those inks that we blended with on the front. And I'm just going to see if hopefully this is straight. And we know that it's going to match. So we'll do maybe the middle color of ink. You could even do an ombre effect with this sentiment if you wanted and stamp the top in one color and the bottom darker. And I like adding stamps inside my card. I do like that Kraftin Kimmie has lots of sentiments on her sets as well, and that they're punny, and I like punny sentiments. Yeah, we'll be watching for it because I think that would be fabulous. All right, so we've got the picket fence sequins, and I thought both of these colors will go well. So we could do rainbow colors or whatever colors you want. I think I want a little bit of a pink one. And don't be afraid to mix and match. Yeah, we'll do those. Mix and match sequin collections as well. I'm going to shut this because you guys know what will happen if I don't. I always feel like I'm doing surgery or something when I have all these, it's like these tools, but it definitely helps when you're putting on sequins. So the art glitter glue is great for putting on your sequins. You just need to let it dry, you know, a minute, but it doesn't take very long, and then it holds them on there and they are stuck for good. There. If you're not sure where to place sequins, if you do a triangle, it will always look good. All right. It's a very cool tool. I'm not sure what we have. Do we still have any of the Studio Cadio or some sequin gem pickers? There's a few different kinds. I think everybody does get excited when Vicki comes out with something, hey? So here's a look at our finished card. We've got all that glitzy glitter. We've got the shininess from the Craft Perfect cardstock. Oh, lots of Studio Cadia. So Studio Cadia has their gem picker, which I should try out. It looks really cool. But having something like that is very helpful to put on sequins or gems. So there you go. I hope that you guys have a wonderful week. Thanks, Judy. And I will be busy tomorrow doing wedding stuff, family barbecue things. And then I'm sure I will be posting photos of my daughter's wedding Sunday. And yeah, it should be a really fun weekend. And then I'm sure after all the busyness, I will be ready to get back and do some crafting after that. Tailored Expressions little mini calendar. I do not have it right in front of me. It's very cute, and I will have to pull it out, and then I'll show you that next week. It's a little mini calendar, and I think there's a pack of, what is it, 6 or 10, or what am I? There's a pack of a few of them, and they're these little calendars that are probably maybe 3 inches by 2 inches kind of thing. And then you can use them on different projects. So I thought it'd be fun to make a little project. You can have like a flip calendar that you make for somebody, or you could use them on your scrapbook pages. There's 10 in there. So yes, I'll pull that out so I can show you next week. There's lots we could do. We should maybe do something with those. That would be fun to do a project. So yeah, thanks guys. Enjoy your weekend, and hopefully you have fun crafting, taking some time for yourself. And I will talk to you next week. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Bye.